Well, this might be my favourite podcast of all time because anyone who knows me knows that despite my handicap, I love golf, and we're here at iGolf in the Callaway Owen. Thank you very much for having us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here.
No, it's brilliant. You've been a customer at Quadrat now for quite a long time.
That's right, yeah, it's true.
And so thank you for that too. I want to start really with your background, and then we'll move on and we'll talk about this amazing venue you've got here. I'm looking at the Master Sevi on the wall, and yeah, it's just a fantastic place. So, first of all, how long have you been in Spain? Why did you come to Spain?
Just over 9 years now I've been here. I think back in Ireland, the weather was a massive factor. The terrible weather in Ireland. I was just at a stage in my life where I was able to make a choice to move or to stay in Ireland. And my brother had previously lived in Spain, and he suggested if it was sunshine and beaches, I wanted to head to the Costa del Sol. So it was just a good time for me to try something out.
Amazing. Well, I don't blame you on the weather. I'm going back to England later, so I'm ready for it. Tell us a bit about what you did in Ireland before you came, and then we'll move on to what you've done in Spain.
Yeah, well, I always worked in hospitality, being kind of from my teenage years, glass washer up to kind of barman, and then moved into the kitchen. Trained as a chef, so I worked for most of my kind of adult life as a chef, and the crossover from Ireland to the Costa del Sol, being in hospitality, made it quite easy to find work. So when I came over here, I was able to find a job before I left Ireland in a bar in Benalmadena. So I was kind of set up from the get-go.
Amazing. So you worked as a chef the minute you sort of came off the plane type thing?
Yeah, I actually, funnily enough, in our local newspaper, I was living in Galway in the west of Ireland. There was an ad for waiters and waitresses on the Costa del Sol, and that all kind of came together. I just by chance saw that. I phoned the guys up and I said, I don't suppose you're looking for a chef? They said, yes, we are. And they were in Galway at the time. And we met up in a hotel, did a quick interview, and they said, okay, this was just before Christmas. They said, come out in March and start. And that was it. It was kind of as easy as that.
And the rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, so you worked there. Where else have you worked in Spain? Tell us a bit about
So I spent a couple of months in an Irish bar in Benalmadena, and for a couple of different reasons that didn't work out. And I went to the Carvery in Montemar and spent the next, I think, 4 to 5 years working there. That progressed then into another job in Fuengirola, which is where I met my investors for this business, iGolf. It's always been a bit of an obsession of mine to open an indoor golf centre. And I was pitching it and selling it to everybody. COVID hit, so everything was shelved. And then once we started coming back to normal, kind of after COVID, I took it back down off the shelf and pitched it to the owners, and they backed me. We put together a plan, and within about 6 months, we went from a TV studio in here to what we see here today, which is the indoor golf centre.
So this was a TV studio when you took it on?
Yeah. Previously, when we came down the first Saturday we were here, the green screen was still here, the news kind of desk and everything was still here. They had a control room with about 1 million miles of cables and stuff like that. So we just gutted the whole place out, stripped it down, and the guys from Black Box, who are experts in setting up these facilities, they came in and just in 3 months from the ground up built everything.
It must be a big investment doing this.
Yeah, I mean, time-wise it is, and the machinery, kind of, and the expertise that these guys bring in setting everything up correctly. Yeah, it was a big investment. It was a risk in the sense that there was only 2 of these in Spain at the time.
Really?
And they had only been open 6 months, so nobody was really sure about how these places were going to go. So we were the third at the time, but over the last 3-4 years, I mean, they've just grown and grown. More centres like this are opening. People are getting these kind of setups in their house and stuff. So the industry itself is quite strong at the minute.
It's funny you say that because back home, although you wouldn't know it, the gym that I used to be a member of has now closed. Okay. You had squash courts and everything, and they're putting these in.
Yeah.
So I can see it growing in England. It's interesting for you to say that it's growing here too, this concept, because I suppose a lot of people think, well, in Spain you can just play golf outside all the time, but that isn't the case, is it really?
No, I mean, I would say the biggest factor that's worked against us has probably been the weather. In that, if you live
Right.
somewhere that's cold for, say, 6 months of the year,
Yeah.
then you've got those 6 months to really kind of, get people indoors. So while we struggle with that, bringing people from outside golf to indoor golf isn't really what we do. We just sell, indoor golf to golfers as a separate kind of thing. We try and separate playing outside to playing inside, make it two different things, and people just kind of enjoy it for what it is. And we find that over the 3 years, progressively, we've been able to convince people of that.
Do you have people who are regular here, play every week? Type
Yeah,
thing?
for sure. I mean, we have membership, kind of for locals outside of the tourist time of the year. It's important for us to try and get locals in, give them a service and something to come in and spend their hard-earned money on. So we'd have regular golfers. People like having their kind of kids' birthday parties and stuff here. Any kind of party or gathering we can deal with. But yeah, we definitely have people who come back time and time again.
And when do you find the trends are? We're talking about the weather, but when are the trends of it being busier? Is it is there any trend?
I mean, in the summer, we're generally for the 3 busy summer months, we're pretty much always busy. People
Right.
like to come in out of the intense heat to a bit of air conditioning,
Yeah.
cool down, especially families with kids. If they've got young kids who are hyper and roasting hot all day, they like to come in. So the summer is kind of covered by that. Winter is a little bit different. When it rains, we're full all day.
Really?
So we do get 2 or 3 weeks during the winter, but we've noticed that we've moved a little bit more into the sports bar kind of theme here.
Okay.
We've got a good few big screens up, darts, pool, something for the non-golfers. And as we moved more towards that, we found that we were steadily and more regularly busy.
That's interesting. So you've diversified from what you kind of set out to do, if you like. You still obviously got the golf here. I mean, you've got 4 screens, is that right?
Yes, with 4 TrackMan bays. And in the beginning, it was very much golf centre, golf centre, golf centre. That's
Right.
what we were pushing. But you've got to develop, you've got to, kind of change up what needs to be changed up. So we find that the more we introduced here in terms of non-golfers being able to come in and have a good time, be it the darts boards, be it the pool table, anything like that, then we find that we were able to diversify and just get more people in and being happy to be in here.
And you got a big screen, I presume you show sport on that.
Yeah, we put all the TV up, the golf up, the darts up. Again, we're able to kind of, if there's big golf events on, big football events on, we've got a World Cup coming this summer, and, it just brings people in.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that, because I think that's something that people would come in and they say, well, this is a golf place. But actually what you're saying is, no, it's not now. It's more of you've diversified into more of what's the term, a broad sheet, if you like, rather than.
Kind of like a sports bar thing.
Yeah.
Because I think in the beginning, that we named the business iGolf because it was solely centered around golf. But I think that kind of put a lot of non-golfers off.
Right.
People told us, well, we thought it was just professional golfers coming down and we would feel out of place. But the more and more we convinced people to come in and see the place, they said, wow, it's actually a little bit more to it than we thought. So we just developed that and said, okay, let's give those guys something to do outside of the golf, their golfer friends something to do, and just keep everybody happy.
Back in England, there's a place just near us that has done exactly the same thing, but they started with pool and snooker and then darts, and then so they've gone the other way.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that in England is that it's more about events. People, as you said, you mentioned birthday parties and stuff. We have a birthday party down here. Is that the way you see it in Spain? The same, that people come out more for. Obviously, they come to play golf, but they come for an event. They'll come because somebody's on the TV or whatever it might be.
Definitely. I mean, we felt like in this business, by just exclusively pushing the golf, we were alienating the non-golfers.
Yeah.
So if you were in a group of 20 people who wanted to go out and 4 of them were golfers, it was difficult to convince 16 of your non-golfing friends to come and play golf because they lose interest after 30 minutes. So we just developed the entire place into something where a group of people who had different interests could all come here and enjoy it, especially outside of golf, but obviously keeping with the golf theme.
And you've been open now 3.5 years, is that right?
3.5 years.
Yeah. And what do you see as next thing for you?
I mean, we just want to keep developing the sports bar theme to it. We talk to our customers all the time. We get as much feedback from our customers as we can, and moving towards the sports bar to cover kind of more areas of interest for our customers is really just what we want to do.
And does that include things like food, more different offering and so on?
I mean, we've got a kitchen in there. We do kind of bar snacks. We do burgers and stuff at the minute. Right now, at the minute, we've trialed an all-day breakfast.
Right.
And for example, something like that really took off. So we're going to sit down over the next couple of weeks and introduce that for the summer. And that's just pure feedback from our customers telling us what they like.
It's just constantly evolving.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
You can't stand still, can you?
No, definitely not. If you do, you get stuck in the mud, don't you?
Yeah.
And the customers pick up on that. You know, if there's nothing new, if there's nothing developing, it just can get a bit stale. So we always like to change it up.
Oh, as soon as you're on QuadCast with us, I wanted to talk to you just briefly about technology that you use here.
Okay.
And
thank you for that.
and do you? So obviously you've used us for a while.
Yeah.
Is there any bit of tech that you think you'd like in the future moving forward? Do you think that'd be really useful for us here, or
off the
it doesn't have to be anything to do with QuadCast? It could be anything, any piece of tech, you know.
Off the top of my head, that's probably a tough one. I mean, I'm not actually sure. That'd be quite a difficult one. I mean, to be honest, anything that helps with the development and of social media.
Right.
I find that social media is massive these days.
Yeah.
It's almost a full-time job for someone just to be posting, creating content and stuff like that. So it might be a little bit outside of the, quadrant and stuff like that. But I mean, cameras, drones, stuff like that. You can almost become a self-created social media expert, but anything that helps in that field is massive for us.
I totally understand that, because at QuadCast we have that problem ourselves with creating content and so on.
Yeah.
And it is literally, it can be a full-time job for someone, can't it?
I think you've got to be on top of that all the time, because if you look at advertising, the biggest companies in the world, I've always said this, they advertise. If Coca-Cola put ads out and they put content out, then we've surely definitely got to be doing that, So anything that helps with that kind of social media and putting stuff out there is always welcome.
Do you find you get a lot of business through social media? Or?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we generally try to ask our customers, new customers, how did you find out about it? A lot of them will say, we saw you on Instagram, Facebook, or we saw the stuff you put out. Our regulars kind of laugh and say, look, every time I go onto my phone, I see you up there, but that's the point,
So you're constantly posting?
Yeah, I mean, on a daily basis, we'll create our own videos. We'll use, various different, pieces of software to kind of create videos. But yeah, we're pretty much putting out there as much as we can.
Do you find the content creation difficult because you've got to constantly put new stuff up?
I find it challenging. I'll say that. We all have, as I say, we all have to become self-made experts in that field. But there's various bits of software and programs and apps and stuff that help us. So generally, I'm getting the hang of it. So I would say I'm half decent at it anyway at the minute.
That's exactly the way I feel about it as well. But it's a constant learning curve, isn't it, with
Absolutely,
social media?
Yeah.
You can put something out that you think looks great, and then actually it doesn't get that many likes, doesn't get that many whatever. And yet something else, we put something out the other week, and I thought it's not very good, and actually it got more traction than stuff that you put out was good.
You'd be surprised every day at how people react to things and what's good and what's bad and what works and what doesn't. That's definitely true, yeah.
And you got no plans to do anything else in the future, or is that another one of these? Or
for sure. But I feel like that just right at the minute we're kind of getting to after the second year. We learned a lot about the business, and from the second year into the third year and now into the fourth, I feel like we are constantly stepping up and up, and we've pretty much got our hands full with this business at the minute, but we're always open to, talking about these kind of things in development.
If someone came up with the right place, the right time.
Absolutely. Never say never.
No, exactly. And you were saying, I mean, is this a growing thing now in Spain then, this concept of indoor golf as well?
Definitely. When we started, I mean, whatever it would have been, kind of 4 to 4.5 years ago, just talking about this, the guys that we dealt with in Black Box, they were kind of, as I say, they opened the first two, one in Madrid and one in Barcelona.
Right.
And then we opened 6 months later here, and these were the only 3 public TrackMan indoor golf centres that there were. But over the last 4 or 5 years, it's developed massively commercially, privately in people's homes, golf courses, and training kind of facilities opening everywhere, and it's a massive business, not just in Spain but globally as well.
Because the last time I was here, I played here, and you had this thing where you could actually track my swing to see, the exact swing alignment where you're going, to whatever it is, less than a millimeter. I guess it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean these are insanely detailed in practicing and making your golf swing better. The TrackMan we use it's the machine that all the top professionals in the world use. And,
right.
The point of these centres is that most of us golfers don't have this access to these machines. So this was just to give everybody a chance to come in and use them. If it's for practice, if it's for playing, if it's for having fun, or the more serious golfers, yeah.
And how's your golf?
No comment. My excuse is I'm too busy to practice, but it's okay. It's not too bad.
Okay, all right. It can't be any worse than mine.
It can.
Well, we've really loved talking to you today. This is it's been a really, really good podcast because it's such a different business for us to be involved in. We're very pleased to be partnering with you as a technology partner, and we look forward to seeing what happens next. Maybe iGolf 2 or whatever.
I hope so. Yeah, it's definitely in the pipeline for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks ever so much for having us, and we'll leave it there. Thanks.
Excellent stuff. We'll go and have a little look at your golf swing.
Hey, hang on. You haven't seen my slice or my hook, have you? Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to that. There might be a few videos on social media of me. You never know.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Lovely stuff.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.